I realized the other day I ruined my career the day that I had my son. Absolutely demolished everything that I had worked my ass off for.
I have a really big problem with these videos that I'm seeing picking up in popularity where you have women who say they make certain statements and they'll try to mask them in, oh, this is my truth. When you have a young mind that's undeveloped, that can't maybe pick out the nuances, and you don't know how they're interpreting that, right? And children are really affected long term, sometimes in a traumatic way, about many things. But to think to yourself that my mother may not have wanted me, and you start questioning whether you're a mistake and all that, where's the sense in all this? What's the purpose of all this? Why aren't you blaming yourself? Right? And this is where I think a lot of people today are really selfish, and they're not willing to sit down with their own decisions and choices, no matter how hard, for the sake of children who did not ask to be here.
And it's ruined. On top of that, he's been sick for like the past 4 months. He has another ear infection. So now I have to miss more work, more time away from my job. Like, I'm about to lose my job because I have a sick kid. What the man? And if you were ever like, oh, I'll just be a single mom, it'll be fine. This is what it's like.
Oh,
This is being a single mom. Everybody have a great day.
yeah. And may we remember this the next time a woman talks about how you can be a single mom by choice and how it's all peaches and everything's great. This seems like the type of conversation that should be had with a therapist, but instead you're having it with the internet. And the problem with that, because I can imagine, as somebody who does have a child, I can only imagine my own mother probably had, now I've never heard this, and she's never alluded to this in any capacity whatsoever, but I can assume she probably had moments where she thought to herself, man, if I wasn't tied down with these kids right now, I could maybe do this, or I wish I had more time to do this, right? But there was no TikTok to say that, speak that, and then the possibility of that maybe making its way around to the child, whether through the fact that once it's on the internet, it's on there for life, or maybe they're old enough to actually find your videos. I just think this is a very irresponsible way to approach and deal with your problems and situations. And these children did not ask to be here. They didn't. They didn't. Top comment here says, Noemi Osaka, probably thinking the same thing, to be honest. Somebody else here added, it's not the actual child, it's the state of motherhood in America. No village, lack of empathy, etc. If you want a village, then stay with your husband, stop divorcing, let go of feminism. Seems to be the theme here, right, of everything. We want the benefits of feminism, of being strong and independent, and want to still have a community. One of the things that I think is a great way to judge whether today's society, particularly that was very influenced up until recently by feminism, whether it was a good idea or headed in the right direction, is how are people doing? Are more people on psychiatric medications? Are children falling behind? How are young men doing? How safe do you feel as a woman? How safe do you feel having a daughter out here walking around? Somebody else here says she's not wrong. All the comments that say to work less or take a lesser role is admitting that she is right. Having kids affects your income earning potential. Maybe it will be better when he gets older. Well, no shit. No shit. How do you not know this as an adult, that having a kid affects your earning potential and your income earning potential? How do you not know this? This is why single mother households don't fare off that well at all. I mean, can you guys imagine a man getting on here and doing this exact same thing? Getting on here and saying, my life's been ruined, I can't pursue my career, all because of this kid, and just putting all the blame on the child. They would not be as forgiving here and as accepting. And this is part of the problem of how we've coddled women and why they get away with this type of behavior. The kids suffer. Somebody else who says, unless you can afford a nanny, kids will change everything. Absolutely every single thing Period. Period. And I like that I do these videos, right? Because even if just one person sees this and says, hey, let me wait until I'm ready, or a young man says, hey, let me implement more sexual discipline into my life so I don't put myself in this situation, your life will change. It will stop being a game very quickly. If you're not in this place right now, then protect yourself. You know you should drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
All right. Next, we have this chick. Right? We have this woman here who's pretty much overall saying the same thing. Check it out.
People don't like when you say it out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sometimes I've said, I hate that I had kids. Not because I don't love them, not because I ever stopped showing up for them, but because nobody told me what it would really cost. There's no manual. There's no roadmap for what it feels like to give your whole self away and then not know how to find it again. It doesn't come from regret. It comes from exhaustion, from raising kids while never being taught how to raise yourself, from showing up for everyone else and not knowing how to show up for you. For years, I thought my identity was just being a mother. And when they grew up, I realized how much of me I didn't even know. I had to ask myself, who am I when no one needs me? And that's when I started to learn how to mother me, to comfort the version of me that never got what she needed, to love myself beyond what I can give others, and to stop feeling guilty for needing space to heal. So if you've ever felt that guilt, if you've ever whispered, I don't know how to do this anymore, you are not a bad mom. You're a mom who's finally realizing you matter too.
The crazy thing is, I actually sit here and I believe everything she's saying. I can't imagine being a single father, even. I can't. I thank God every day that I have a wife and we make it work, and she takes on the majority of taking care of that child, and I assist and help. And I'm grateful that we have a family and a village that helps us, especially because I didn't realize how important that was. It's our first kid, right? I'm learning these things as I go. So hearing her, I'm like, yeah, I get it's difficult. But then the whole I hate that I had kids is the same thing, right? That could get misconstrued by your children if they hear that. And I hope they're able to understand where you're coming from. A few comments here. Top comment says, don't get me wrong, I love my child more than anything, but being a single mom is exhausting. Keyword single mom. But if you encourage sexual discipline amongst women, if you say, hey, there's plenty of good men out here who aren't going to pay all your bills, you say, nah. I want this guy to bust his cheeks who's going to leave me struggling and a single mom. Or like the last video I just released, they will put themselves in the situation of being a single mom when they could have powered through that relationship and that marriage for the sake of their own mental state, and especially the children. Somebody else who says, the women that get it. I have no identity right now. I feel so lost. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the child. And people hear that, oh my gosh, we're so conditioned to treat women like children. We're talking about children versus adults. Who should we protect more? The children or the mothers? This chick here says, I just turned 40 and my child just turned 17. I recently came to terms that my life probably won't start, or I won't get to fully live my life until she graduates high school. I totally understand where you're coming from, doing everything you named, all while trying to heal from your upbringing and your past. Somebody else here says, I truly understand this. This needs to be a course in high school. Why? Why do you need to have a course in high school? Well, because nothing's going to change. Instead of having a course of preventing single motherhood and really bringing shame back, because this experience is a lot more detrimental long term, they're saying this needs to be a course of dealing with single motherhood because it's probably guaranteed, which is sad. Here's another person who says, finally, somebody speaking on the real about motherhood, single motherhood. You got to put single motherhood. Are there some mothers who are in terrible situations where maybe they don't get any help, even if they're married? Yes, but that's the exception. People like to paint things in a way that men are just incapable of contributing to any capacity, even if you're married to them. But that's just not true. That's just not true. To a lot of those women, they're unhappy either way. If they didn't have any kids or didn't have any husbands, they'll be on here complaining about that, coming to terms with that, and crumbling with that perspective. If they were married and still stay with the husband and kids, and I'm talking about the small particular side that look at everything and be like, no, most men are horrible, and there's no good way of doing this, and absolutely no hope mindsets. If they were married, they'll probably complain and say, oh, I should have married somebody else. Somebody else who says, Lord knows, I felt this, my eyes started watering. Here's somebody else who says, this is why I'm so vocal about motherhood and what it's like being a mom. I don't want anyone making decisions to have kids without as much info as possible. She put, okay, without, she spelled that W-O, Mama B. Yeah. I feel the same exact way and try to educate the young ladies about the struggle of motherhood. It's important to share our stories. I'm exhausted. Hey, listen, guys, of course, I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you are a man who's currently engaged or soon to be married, and you're interested in learning more about prenuptial agreements, right? How you can go about getting one, but you don't know where to start, head over to fathershaverights.com. There are people who are getting access, they're educating themselves, and our information is provided by expert attorneys. Here it explains how this guide helps you, the future husband. It helps you avoid expensive prenup mistakes. Most guys just get burned by waiting too long before signing under pressure or not knowing what's enforceable. This guide shows you how to move smart and avoid traps, knowing how to choose the right attorney. You know, there's a lot of questions you have, and there are very few places that show you how to walk into a lawyer's office 10 steps ahead. And that's what we promise this guide will do for you. And the most amazing thing is the guide costs less than your average second date. So don't wait. Head over to fathershaverights.com. Get access to your guide today. Appreciate you. Till next time. I'm out. Peace.